What's up guys, Rich here with Soldat Promessa. And the barrel case is in 42 millimeters, 50 lug to lug. It's 14 millimeters tall, and it uses a 20 millimeter strap which that tapers down to 18 to the buckle. And so the Promesa is 100% made in Japan. And if you like Japanese products the way that I do, I think you're going to really appreciate the Promesa. In fact, I like Japanese jeans. I seek them out. I really like the quality of Japanese denim, among other Japanese products. So if you want a watch that is literally 100% made in Japan, I really think you're going to like the Promesa. I mean, even Seiko, for example, not all of Seikos are made in Japan. It's rather complicated, but it's because Seiko has some facilities in Malaysia, Singapore, and China, whereas the Promesa is 100% made in Japan. The company Soldat is based out of Indonesia. The watch is made in Japan, and it just screams quality. I mean, the moment you hold this in your hand, it just has a premium feel, regardless of whether or not you know the origins of the watch. You can tell that this is an expensive watch just based on the quality. And one of the first elements of the watch that I noticed that I really appreciated is the finishing. The finishing on this is just really well executed. Here, it's mostly in a brushed finishing with a polished bezel, and I really like that look. I actually prefer the entirely brushed case, even without a polished beveling around it. I think this solid brush case with the polished bezel just works really nicely. And I also like the two registers that are there in white. It actually has 3 registers, but if you look at the watch at first glance, it looks like it has 2 registers, and we'll cover that in just a moment. Overall, just a really nice, beautiful design here. The design is based on the barrel case here, which is popular in the 60s and 70s. It has drilled lugs, and I know that some people might prefer the convenience of the quick release spring bars, as I do as well. But I think it's more consistent and in line with the vintage looking watch of the 60s and 70s. So there is that appeal of having drilled lugs as well. So going back to the dial, we have 2 registers at 9 o'clock and 3 o'clock. At 9 o'clock, it's a 30-minute register, and at 3 o'clock, it's the small seconds register. And then there's a register at 6 o'clock, which is for the 12 hours register, and it's flush with the blue dial, and it has a date window above 6 o'clock that's sort of integrated into that 3rd register. And I know some people don't want a date window. I know that turns some people off. For me, it really doesn't matter. I actually like a date window, but I'd be fine without it. But I know that some people are gonna wonder about the date window, but you know, that's personal preference. And it has the central seconds hand for the timing functions. There it is: start, stop, reset it. So, like I said, it has that nice, at a glance, 2 register looking dial, but it has that 3rd register. So I think it's just sharp. It's really just sharp all around. This is in the true blue, and we can see that the different angles of the blue with that sunburst blue, but it's also available in red comet and green 49. It has a tachymeter there, and we can see it right, you can see it where it's between 12 o'clock and 2 o'clock, which is used to measure distance between travel based on speed, or we can calculate speed based on travel time. Just a really nice, just smooth, really smooth functions there, and that's going to be based on part of the movement, and we'll cover that in just a moment. It has a sapphire front, solid case back, which I really like, and it says made in Japan right there on the solid case back. Just again, really well done. And the movement that's powering the Promesa is Seiko's NE88 movement, which many will consider superior to the 750 Swiss movement. It has 45 hours of power reserve. It uses a classic Seiko feature. If you're a fan of Seiko watches, you'll know that it uses the triple tip hammer that simultaneously resets all the registers back to 0. Plus, it uses a column wheel with a smoother feel in the hand, and it does have that really nicely. Just a really nice, really smoother feel in the hand versus the clickier and more common horizontal cam lever. Additionally, the NE88 also features a vertical clutch to solve the issues of excessive wear. It's just it's a great movement for this. It's not widely used. Seiko does use the exact same movement in their watches. In other words, they don't just provide the movement to third-party brands. And when Seiko uses the movement, they're at least $2,000 or more. So I think the retail price on this, which I'll get to now, is $1,250. And I think that is actually a really nice value on a solidly made watch, especially again, and I want to emphasize, if you like made in Japan quality, I think you're really going to appreciate the Promesa. The name Promesa in Italian means inspiration, and if you're wondering about the Soldat brand, it means soul, design, art, and technique. So that's where we get the name from. Just if you look at it, just really sharp, especially with that barrel case there. Really sharp. The strap is leather. It's the sports rally type of strap. I believe it's calf. But there are so many details. I'm not just talking about whether or not you want to attribute it to made in Japan or not, but it has some nice refinements. It's blue with the matching orange stitching there that goes along with the orange accents on the dial in the hand and where it says tachymeter. But also little touches like this. There's their logo on the buckle, but on the other side of the buckle, it's actually spelled out and branded with Soldat. So, you know, just a nice refinement, just another nice touch. Even the buckle is well finished. It's not a cheap, low-grade quality buckle. Just details just abound throughout the Promesa. It's just really sharp look. I'm really impressed by it, and especially the more time I've been spending with this, it just oozes quality, and it has a really great wrist presence. So I think what we're getting is a really sharp overall, just a really well-made watch. But I'm proud of this watch and the way that they put this together. It just comes together really nicely. The presentation is this lacquered watch box. We've seen this kind of presentation a lot, but even the lacquer finishing on Soldat is really nicely done. I don't know if this is made in Japan. I would say that I doubt that, but it is well done. Everything about the presentation, about the build quality on the Promesa is just really first rate. So again, the retail price is $1,250, and I think for that you're getting a solidly made in Japan watch. Everything is made in Japan except the NATO strap. So otherwise, if you like Japanese products and you've had great experience with Japanese watches, you're going to really like the Promesa. And I think Soldat is definitely worth a closer look. Thanks, guys, and I'll see you soon. Take care. Bye-bye.